Hey guys, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio, and today's exercise is about doing some one-armed pushing or throwing of the ball. It's going to help a little bit with cross patterning and just kind of get this crawling side of things into, being able to do it upright and on 2 feet, which is what we need to be able to throw or to kick or even to run. So if it feels like you're having a bit of coordination issues side to side, then this would be a useful exercise for you. So this stuff's going to start to sound a little bit repetitive, but as we're getting towards the end stage of rehab, like we are with this exercise, we need to consider that you have the prerequisite ranges and you've had the experience of trying to control these ranges in different areas of your body, say your lower back, or your hips, or your thoracic spine, or your neck, to be able to actually perform the skill of this exercise. And I think sometimes it's about taking a step back and just being honest with where you're at, and that sometimes going a little too advanced means that at some point you're going to have to come back and address the deficits that you have. And that's not a bad thing. That's really positive. It just means that you got to work on these other things, and those other things are going to have the bigger effect. It's going to cast the wider net and give you more benefit, and then you're going to be a lot more consistent later on than if you go for something like this and work within this capacity when what you want to do requires this capacity. And when you're doing things that are fast, this capacity isn't necessarily going to increase. You're just going to get better at this capacity, right? That's not a hard truth for every single movement, but for this particular exercise, it would be. So you need to develop the other ranges and capabilities. And if you're not sure what those are, then go back to our other videos around throwing, where I go into a little more detail, and go even further back into some of the videos around like lower back and abdominal stuff and thoracic spine, hip as well. Okay, preamble over, 7 kilos. I'm interested in cross patterning here. So I want to get a pre-stretch of my muscles through the front so that they can feel where they are. Muscles have these things in them called muscle spindles, and those muscle spindles feel stretch, and that's the information that we get. That's proprioception. We get proprioception from other areas of our body as well, but most of it comes from muscle spindles or stretch, okay? So when a muscle stretches, your brain goes, well, I can feel that stretch. Start thinking about like a rubber band, and then it knows, okay, at some point I'm probably gonna have to shorten this muscle pretty soon. At the same time, the opposite side muscles of the joint are relaxing. This is that reflexive inhibition. But then you also get a local loop back to that same muscle, which enables it to contract. And you would have seen this kind of thing happen when you do reflexes with like a hammer with the doctor. They hit your patella tendon, and the patella tendon stretches, and then the muscle stretches, and your brain goes, whoa, I gotta turn off the hamstring because in a second I'm gonna contract the quadricep, and then the quadricep shortens and the hamstring relaxes. We want this to happen on a global scale and not on a one joint scale. And that's why I say we've got to have all these range prerequisites first so that you can actually demonstrate the exercise. So, stretch through the front. If my right arm goes behind me and my left leg goes behind me, now I'm getting a stretch through this anterior oblique sling, through my pecs, my obliques, down into my groin muscles, some of the groin muscles. As I come into here, they've stretched, and then I'm going to shorten them by stepping forward, pushing the left foot forward and the right arm forward. The whole time I'm going to keep my eyes fixated on something, so I'm looking at you guys in the camera there, and I'm trying not to let my head get pulled sideways or in other directions. Try and be as tall as you can the whole time and as wide as you can, so as tall and as wide. Ribs are down. To start with, don't think too much about what you're doing other than just be as tall and as wide as you can, and just throw the ball like that. Now, for a lot of people, this will be very easy. And for a lot of people, this will be quite challenging. Maybe it will only be challenging on one side as well. If it's challenging on one side, then definitely work away at this. If it's challenging on both sides, then go back to some of the core exercises, okay? Right leg goes behind me, left hand behind me, and then, okay? I'm gonna try and throw the ball, get it out of my hand before my foot hits the ground. Can start thinking about different cues. If I start thinking about body parts, it's just going to kind of not create fluid movement. Better to think about things in your environment or external stuff. So something to think about would be try to break some glass with your knee. So I'm trying to break glass in front of me, like there's a window here and I'm trying to push it forward, right? I'm trying to get it forward so I take a bigger step. Another one would just be try and take a big step. A third one would be try to punch through the ball or push through the ball. Instead of thinking about my hand, I'm thinking about the ball. A fourth one could be I'm going to try and throw the ball as far as I can, all right? So if I scoot back a little bit, I'm taking that pre-stretch of my left leg behind me, my right arm behind me. As you get more confident with this, you can take the step and then rebound. So I'll do it on this one. So I'm going to go breath in and then. And so what I've done is stretched those tissues like a rubber band. They've stretched, I've had the elastic recoil, and then, and I've kept my eyes fixated. I might get a little bit of deviation, but I'm trying to stay straight. Really nice exercise for building that coordination that we're talking about, okay? So if this feels tricky for you, keep working at it. Don't try too hard, try less weight, try and go slower. That's always going to reveal things. So if you're getting a little bit of difficulty with this coordination, spend more time in this slow phase and see if you can actually execute it slowly. And if you can't, you probably don't have as much control and stability as maybe you thought you did. It's kind of like, can you ride a bike quickly and slowly? And if you can do it slowly, you know that you actually have good control of the bike. So give this a go, and hopefully you'll find that some cross coordination just gets a little bit easier for you. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.